September on a whole was a good month for us. You know, we won 3 games, beat Norwich, beat Burnley, beat Tottenham. That was the big one at the Emirates, North London derby. Of course, we're always up for that game. Always want to win that game. And the team put in a shift. They put in a great performance in that game, and things were looking really bright. Tomiyasu, Smith Rowe, Saka, Partey, Gabriel. Looked like we were starting to see. Well, I thought that was the beginnings of us starting to see what Arteta really wants to do. But then I was quickly brought back down to earth, and I thought to myself, is this the first time that we've put in a performance like that? A performance that triggers hope that we can kick on and start challenging for the top 4 and for the title. Is this the first time we've produced performances like that under Arteta? For me to be getting gassed. And all throughout that week, I was just thinking to myself, is this actually going to be a real change? Or is it just going to be another false dawn? And I can tell you now that that result against Brighton on Saturday did not help. What kind of performance was that? People may think I'm just picking out the negatives of the month, but sometimes performances like that against Brighton kind of tell me where we are. I've seen people online saying that 0-0 draw against Brighton was a good result just because they're in good form. Well, how is a draw ever a good result? I don't care who it's against. The only circumstances where I think I've been happy with a draw is when we were in a bad run of form and then, well, we were actually in a decent run of form, but we were about to lose against Chelsea in the 1920 season, early in Arteta's reign. And Martinelli obviously scored that goal when he ran the whole length of the pitch, and then Bellerin equalised to make it 2-2 against Chelsea. We were down to 10 men down in that game. That's the only time I can really remember where I was actually happy with a draw. I don't like draws because they just leave a bitter taste in my mouth. You haven't lost, you haven't won. It's just somewhere in the middle, and it's like you haven't actually played a game at all. That's what it feels like. I really don't like draws, especially in the way we drawed against Brighton. We didn't even look threatening. What kind of performance was that? And people have the audacity to say that it was a good result because Brighton played better. Well, that's why you should be getting on the team and the manager's back for putting in such a slack performance. A whack performance. We should get Arteta the sack. Because I don't know why this board are still backing him after everything that he's done previously to these last 3 games. These last 3 games are going to save him his job for the rest of the season. I'm telling you this now. Because this fan base will just find any means to keep this manager in the job. And I believe that the fans do have power. If the fans wanted him out, like really wanted him out, he would have been gone already. Because that loss to Villarreal was unacceptable in itself. But then he had the audacity to go and lose our next 3 games. And now, just because he's won manager of the month, it's all sweet again. It's a 38-game Premier League season, not a 3-game Premier League season. I don't care what he's done in these last 3 games. Carry it on. These 3 wins are not what's going to help us challenge for the title. We have to keep on. We have to be consistent. I don't want to hear these excuses about it being a young squad. Arsene Wenger had a lot of young squads, and we still finished in the top four. The average age we have now, Arsene Wenger has had that quite a bit, and he's still managed to get us into the top four. I know Arsene Wenger is a streets better manager than Mikel Arteta, but the way people are speaking about Mikel Arteta and some of the players that we've got, I'd expect us to be challenging for the top four regardless of whether it's a young squad. People say it's a young squad. We've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we've got Alexander Lacazette as striking options. If you had told me that we would have Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang as striking options at Arsenal Football Club 4 or 5 years ago, I would not have believed you, because that would have been too good to be true. Because those two were two of the best strikers in Europe at one point. But now this manager has ruined him. And I will say this manager, because Lacazette was balling under Emery. And so was Aubameyang. And they were still proven to be two of the best strikers in Europe. But now, if you say that, it's just laughable. We've got those two players in our team. We've got Rob Holding, who's been at the club for 5 or 6 years now. It will be 6 years at the end of the season. So there's actually no excuse for him not being able to lead the team. Kieran Tierney has won title after title after title. He's no mug. He has experience. So we can count him out too. We can count Leno out. We can count Ramsdale out because he's played in rough times. Teams getting relegated. He has experience of being in bad and poor teams. So we can count him out too. Then who else? Pepe. He's experienced. Pepe's experienced. He did it in France for years. He's 26 now. 26. 26. Granit Xhaka's in there. Thomas Partey's in there. Mohamed El-Neni's in there. It's not as young a squad as you think. And the young players that we do have been playing for a while now. I wonder what this Arsenal fan base classify as the young players in this squad. Because I would say Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli. Players like Maitland-Niles and Gabriel, they've been playing for years now. Maitland-Niles has been in and around this team for about 5 years now. I'm not even joking. I remember him playing under Arsene Wenger quite regularly at left back. So there's not really any excuses with him either. It's not as inexperienced a squad as people think. So we should be doing heaps better. And just to counterattack this youth and this young squad excuse, well, we didn't have to have such a young squad, if it even is that. Because we could have got Yves Bissouma, and I know he got arrested for reasons that I'm not even going to mention, because I don't know if they're true or not. But he did get arrested, but, I'm mentioning based on his footballing ability. I couldn't have been speaking in hindsight when I said that I wanted him as my main target at the beginning of the summer. I think we should have signed him. I think getting a right back was the right thing to do. But we wasted 50 million on Ben White. That 50 million, I would have put it onto Yves Bissouma. I wouldn't have even signed a centre-back, to be honest. I don't think we needed one. We could have just brought William Saliba back. And maybe, either way, we had the third best defence last season, as everyone kept on telling me. So why did we need another centre-back? Makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, I would have brought back Saliba. I would have got another right back. I wouldn't have got Tomiyasu, but he looks all right so far. Although saying that, he was shocking against Brighton. I'll give him a pass. That's his first bad game. I would have got quite a few midfielders, to be honest. I would have got Bissouma as well as Lokonga. And I also would have got Houssem Aouar. I wouldn't have kept Xhaka and El-Neni. They both would have gone. And I would have brought back Guendouzi. All of a sudden, that midfield is streets better than what we have now. I wouldn't have signed Ødegaard either, by the way. I wouldn't have signed Erdegaard. I heard that we were looking for Asensio. I would have taken him. Willian left. Why not? And people don't seem to rate Pepe. So any Arsenal fans that would have rejected Asensio, well, you don't make any sense. So there's a lot of other things we could have done to make sure that we were competing and in and around the top four right now, instead of having to wait 3 or 4 years. It was the club's decision to wait 3 or 4 years because we were the highest spending team in Europe this transfer window, I believe. So you can't say that we only signed young players because we couldn't afford big names. Well, but we could have signed players who were ready for now. But instead, we chose to sign the young players. So that's us choosing to wait another 3 or 4 years. And that is what I'm just not accepting. Which I don't understand why the fans are accepting. We've waited 17 years. Some of us haven't even seen us win a league title. And you are accepting this stupid project that you don't know if it's going to work or not. And basically just winging it, seeing how it goes. I don't even know what to say. And now, this Arteta winning player of the manager of the month, this could be the worst thing to happen to our club for a while. Because I don't think they're going to sack him in the next 4 months, regardless of what results we get. Because he's won this manager of the month. This has bought him more time. This has bought him more time. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta is still the manager in February or March. Look, we've got, from going off the 3 games that I've seen, as in Burnley, Norwich, and Spurs, I think the defence looks decent. Although saying that, I've not rated Ben White's start to life in England. But we've still got Saliba to come into this defence. So I'm quite happy with Tierney, Gabriel and Tomiyasu and Ramsdale so far, to be fair. So I'm going to let that slide for now. But I've not been happy with our attack. Yes, we performed against Spurs, but I've not been happy with our attack. Simple as that. I've not been happy with how we've been attacking. Bukayo Saka needs to start scoring more goals. He scored against Spurs, fair enough. But we need more. We need more. We need more goals from Saka. We need more goals from Smith Rowe. We need more goals from Pepe. It's time for us to drop Erdegaard. I don't care if he scored a free kick against Burnley. I don't care. He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't get enough assists. All he really does is pass sideways and backwards, and it's not like he helps when we're in the defense, when we're defending the counter attacks and defending attacks in general. He doesn't help. He's just a passenger. He is the passenger in our team right now, and the sooner Arteta realizes it, the better. He's realized that Saka's better on the right, which I don't know why he switched on him back onto the left anyway. So he's put Saka onto the right. Cool. We look a bit more threatening than we did at the beginning of the season. But now it's time you take Erdegaard out and put Pepe on the left. And start introducing Martinelli and Lacazette off the bench more often. Because I'm not liking what this guy's doing with his substitutions. I'm not going to lie to you. Against Spurs, we could have battered them 6 or 7-0. It's not me being greedy. I'm just grown up on Arsenal scoring lots of goals. And I know other managers would have thrown on Martinelli and Pepe to kill that game off. Instead, this manager wanted to stick. I don't even know why he did this. He just wanted to stick with the same players we had on the football pitch. Instead of changing things around and adding fresher legs to really go at Tottenham. This could have been a statement win. A statement win. But we didn't take the opportunity. Instead, we were just complacent in that second half. And in a different game, they could have pegged us back to make it 3-3. That's how thin the margins are in football. So no, I'm not getting carried away by these 3 games. I've liked the look of Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, and Gabriel and Tierney so far. But let's see how they go on for the rest of the season. And I don't believe that Arteta will be the right manager to coach those players that I just mentioned. And I just wanted to talk about Newcastle's takeover as well. I think that's a problem. It's not just a problem for us, but it's a problem for the league. You see, the thing with Newcastle, yeah, is if they start winning the league and stuff, and winning like football's biggest prizes, am I going to turn around and say to them that they're an oil club and this, that, and this, that? Because Newcastle are a big club, and they were a big club before this takeover. They've won 6 FA Cups and 3 league titles. That's more than the team down the lane. So it's not like Chelsea and City, because Chelsea and City were pretty small. Newcastle, however, were a pretty decent sized club before this takeover. So this takeover only solidifies that position if they're able to win stuff. And I think Arsenal should see this as a threat. I really do, because this is one extra opponent we have to get past, one extra hurdle we have to jump over in our quest to get back to the top. And it was something like this that happened in 2004 with Roman Abramovich that has ultimately led to us not being able to win the league since then. Because after Chelsea takeover, that seemed to have ruined Arsenal. Because we're letting teams just overtake us. And if we don't watch our backs, Newcastle could overtake us very swiftly. It's an extra hurdle we have to climb if they get things right. Because you can mismanage money. But if they get things right, it's an extra hurdle we have to climb. And I think that's a problem. We could be the next Liverpool. And except with us, it could be even longer. Because there's more teams that we have to jump over. And we don't have a Jurgen Klopp as manager either. We have Mikel Arteta, who is not getting us closer to that, to the top of the table. He's setting us back further. This is deep, deep times at Arsenal. And I hope that we start to make the right decisions. And the first right decision we have to make is getting rid of this manager. As soon as we got a proper manager in place, then we'll know whether Kroenke was the real problem or not. At the end of the day, if the owner's not pumping money that much in, I don't think that is that big of a problem. Wenger worked around it. If you're a quality manager, you work around it. And that argument can't be thrown anyway, since we were the highest spending team in the summer transfer window. Doesn't matter whether it came through Kroenke's pocket or not. The money is still money. And we mismanaged that money, which is why we're so far behind the top 4 pack. And we could be even further behind because of this Newcastle takeover. These Arsenal fans don't seem to realise how bad things could get really quickly if we don't raise the standards of the football club. We could fall further and further and further behind the pack and become another Barcelona. A massive, massive, massive fall from grace. And we would only have ourselves to blame, really, for accepting mediocrity.